My name's Laura, and I'd like to tell the story of my great-granddad, Captain Tom Woods. So my great-granddad, Captain Tom Woods, was a captain of a passenger ship called the Lady of Man, and it used to transport passengers from the Isle of Man to the mainland UK. And in 1942, along with 5 other ships from his company, they were called to Dunkirk to rescue people from the beaches. So he did his first trip to Dunkirk in 1942, followed by another 4 trips, plucking thousands of men from the beaches. When the Lancaster was bombed and sank, there was about 2,500 men that were in the water and survivors. And despite the orders my great-granddad was given, he chose to go and rescue some men from the water from the Lancaster as well. He got an OBE for his efforts from the King, and they estimated he passengered about 2 million men during the war. I think it's really special because he wasn't part of the Royal Navy. He was just a regular passenger ship captain, you know, and he got his orders in 1942 and he just went and did his duty. So his first letter to his boss, it said, we arrived at Dunkirk at about 11:30 and had to wait outside the pierheads for orders to enter, which we got at about noon. All the time we were waiting, there was continuous waves of German planes coming over, 40 at a time. At about 1:30 p.m, we got a berth at the pier and commenced embarking French casualties. We took 1,500 casualties on board, of which 300 were stretcher cases. All the time we were at the pier, the German planes were coming over, bombs dropping the other side of the pier about 40 yards from us. We had 7 holes made in the starboard bow close to the waterline. Several soldiers marching down ahead of us were killed from the shell fire. For 5 hours we were under bomb and shell attack. We sailed at about 5 p.m. for Folkestone, embarking there at midnight, and disembarked all the uninjured troops, leaving Folkestone at 4:30 a.m. for Dover, arriving at about 6 a.m. where the casualties were disembarked. In the Manx Museum, there's the letters that my great-granddad sent to his wife, my great-grandma, called Floss. My dear Floss, a few lines, and even though it's in pencil, you'll be pleased to see my writing again. We've had a hectic time since the 28th of May. All the sleep I've had is about 2 hours a day, and I feel jiggered, but thank the good man, we've come out of this not unscratched. The sights we have seen would make one cry, and others thank goodness that we belong to such a nation of men. So sometime when we meet again in the near future, I will have some tales to tell. And then later on, I love this bit, it says, my dear Floss, I'm enclosing 2 historic documents, and then he's crossed that out, and it says, no dear, I've changed my mind. It will be safer to keep what I've got until I see you and give them to you to hand down to our children's children, which is just lovely because obviously that's me. So yes, so some really personal extracts of what he was feeling, and obviously terrified, but I loved the fact that he just said he wanted to be there and would not have missed it for the world. He says in his letters he wished he could save lots more than he actually did. I think he says somewhere like every one of those men was someone's son. He knew that he just had to get as many away safely as he could. Now I sort of walk around thinking, wow, all those millions of people that wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the likes of my great-granddad saving them from those beaches.